Hello, I'm Nami Padgett with the HeartSong Sanctuary Collective, and I am giving you the weekly sermon on one of our agreements, and this one is on shadow work. So the full tenet or the full agreement says we will begin to integrate and embrace the inner shadow so that we are not clouded by that which we do not see. So what exactly does that mean? So we go through this world experiencing our inner light qualities, and then we also have shadow qualities, and that can be deemed as maybe the opposite of what a light quality is. So if you are talking about joy, for instance, as the light quality within yourself, then fear or sadness might be the shadow quality of that. And we all have both of these dynamics within ourselves all the time, but we will always, or a lot of people tend to want to focus only on the things that they deem that are good. And that oftentimes falls into the category of light qualities. And we all have times where there is something else going on. Maybe it's in duality. Maybe we have light, this sadness and joy going on all at the same time. And that's perfectly normal. But if we are going to deny the sad part of ourselves, or something that may be causing stress within ourselves, then we are totally discounting literally half of our own being. And to be in denial of that is to not understand the full scope of ourselves or even other people. And we can't be healthy or hold good space if we're not going to embrace our shadow qualities as well as our light qualities. And in fact, if you're in the priestessing world, or if you're in any world where you're practicing any kind of spirituality, it's necessary to feel into both of those things. And it's not something to be afraid of. And I think that's something that we're taught as we grow up, that we cannot share certain parts of ourselves or we might not be accepted. And that's not the work that we do here at HeartSong Sanctuary. We accept the whole person regardless of what is happening with them, and we encourage people to embrace their shadows and do shadow work so that you can be a holistic person from an emotional standpoint. So if you haven't done any shadow work, or you've done very little shadow work, what that might look like is simply doing a journal entry, and thinking about, even like, you can even pick any, like, let's just pick Jesus. Maybe that's not a good one because he's all light, but you know, Jesus had some shadow qualities as well, and it might be self-sacrifice. And so that is something to explore in ourselves. So if we think about ourselves as this light being who is very giving, and that's the light quality part of it, the opposite would be, are we giving too much of ourselves? Are we sacrificing too much of ourselves? And that's something to explore and something to journal about, or something to consider for yourself. You could pick a priestessing archetype. You can pick, for instance, let's say Kali. Kali is a fierce archetype and known for death and destruction, and you might consider her all shadow. But actually, Kali is not all shadow. She might wipe away, destroy things, burn and pillage, but she's clearing the way for the light to come in. And so it's not always something to be afraid of. And when we come across people, I think a lot of times we'll see truth tellers as a shadow or a dark quality. And we become afraid of that. But truth tellers are there for us for a reason, so that we can learn a lesson, or we can figure out what needs to go. I've had many people in my life that I just love and adore that have told me the truth. And it may have not felt good, at the time. And I might have thought in the, as I was hearing something about myself or hearing a harsh truth, that I didn't want to hear it. And I didn't want to go down that path. But when somebody tells me the truth now, I'm so thankful for it. And it has always taught me some kind of lesson. And maybe the lesson for me is a boundary. Maybe I need to have a better boundary around this person if they keep telling me, negative things. But there have been plenty of people who, in love, have shown me the way. And that's why it's important that we embrace shadow, not only from other people, but most importantly, in ourselves. It's not something to reject. It's something that is a gift for us. And really, some of those qualities that can be considered shadow qualities are protective qualities within ourselves, and are built around us for protection. But we need to understand all of that so that we can, again, show up fully and be in presence and understand, what's happening within ourselves, so that we can have compassion, not only for ourselves, but for others. But the most important part is thinking about them, doing some work. If you haven't done any shadow work at all, I would recommend getting into one of the classes that we offer at HeartSong, or there's plenty of classes around this subject everywhere, and almost every spiritual theology has some type of work when it comes to shadow, or considering like the black and the white, and what might be considered or deemed dark. So just take a moment and think about these tenets within your own life, and do some journaling around it and see what comes up for you. And if you have questions, or reach out, to one of us at HeartSong Sanctuary. And we also gather every month on the full moon, so that's a chance to come in person and to start exploring some of these ideas in a very safe and small contained environment. And if you can't make it in person, there will be some online groups and things like that moving forward in the future. So keep an eye on our calendar, because we're going to have more and more opportunities popping up. We just started HeartSong Sanctuary earlier this year. We're getting our sea legs right now, and we have some offerings, but this fall I think those are going to explode. So keep an eye on that. And I thank you for listening for this session on embracing your inner shadow. Our website is heartsongcollective.org, so check us out there, and keep follow our Instagram page if you want to know about more events and other things that we have going on. Blessings, and have a wonderful day.